Okay, and welcome to Marty's Electro Rails. Today we're going to be working on an AV thing, which is a microphone, which is a Rode NTG-2 microphone. I've worked on this before. I did fix it, but I actually took it apart. Reason being, as you see, the battery. This is the battery compartment, and it snapped. And I'd done an actual fix on it. It works really well. But the only problem was these cables were far too long to let a battery fit in the actual compartment. It's quite a fiddly little thing, so I am going to attempt to put all this together and resolder these cables. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to resolder this because I didn't have a decent soldering iron when I did it. It was some time ago, and onto the pins of the XLR. So I'm going to take these off, see if I can clean this up, shorten these cables. Sorry, I had to stop the video there, as most of my close-up shots were either out of focus or out of shot. So I've taken a picture, and you can see we've got pin 1, pin 2 and pin 3. So the original wiring of the capacitors, pin 2 and pin 1 were connected by one ceramic capacitor. Pin 3 and pin 1 were connected by a ceramic capacitor. Pin 1 was connected to the shield, and the red cable coming off the shield was connected to the negative of the battery. I slightly rewired this because pin 1 was very busy, so I wired pin 2 with the capacitor to the shield. This is just the same connectivity if you'd wired it to pin 1. I hope that makes sense, and we'll get back to the video. On the circuit board, this is the microphone, on the circuit board there are actual pin numbers, and it goes 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to desolder all this and try and see if I can get thinner cables as well, because if these cables sit, if you can see, along this channel here, it's not ideal. So I'm going to start doing it, so let's get to it. Use helping hands and spin it around that way. I don't want to clamp all 3 pins, because once the heat is on these pins from the soldering iron, it will bend. The spring from the crocodile clip will start bending them in towards one another. So I really only want to clamp 2 of the pins that are on that. So just pick 2 pins, and I can see, oh no, I'll do that later, leave that to the side. And I'm going to get some solder iron, and quick solder. Yep, it's only, no, this is one thing that's an issue, is actually getting it to solder onto this. Now, I wonder if you can see that. I have a little solder there. So I'll need to try that again. Watch the solder go onto, yep, it's gone onto the actual metal casing. Spin around. Oh, that's actually, no, it's not solid. So what I'm going to do is just put a wee blob of solder already on that. Try and clean that connection up. Put a little blob of solder on the shield. Another good way of, if the solder's not going onto a metal surface, a good thing to do is actually use a little file and just rough the surface up a wee bit. That helps the solder to connect onto the surface. Right, that's us. It's alright. Still not pretty, but it's alright. Okay, so that's that part done. So the idea now is to find. I've got a couple of options here. You can see what I've done prior to it. I've just used heat shrink to extend these cables. They'd think these 3 cables were the original ones. So whether I actually want to try and solder these 3 cables onto, they seem to be soldered on both sides for some strange reason. So I don't know if I'll take the easy option and just do the same thing, or I could just, I mean, having a look at this end, where this sits in round this way. You've got these coming down, but there. They're not ideal. And so it's kind of going to sit in there. Do you know what? I could maybe pull these cables back. And then set that in there. That might work. And I might not need to desolder everything. I can just pull the cables back. Yep. And leave them. Don't know, because it's right next to a transformer. We could give it a try. Remember, these are the actual signal cables. A little switch there as well. I've got to watch that doesn't come off. Yeah, I might give that a try. We'll find out. So I'm going to tidy, keep all these a decent length. And snip them all to the same length. Strip them back all to the same length. One, 2, 3. Okay, I tin each of these as well. Just do one at a time. Try and do it as quickly as possible. And that is good. That's a bit wobbly. And again. Yep, that's all the way around. Last one, the green cable. wasn't going to put a video out today, but I just decided I had a couple of emails to sort out and bits and bobs for work. So I thought I was going to not put a video out, but I realised I got stuff done a bit quicker than what I thought, so I would thought I'd just sit and do a video. It's always good fun. So I just want to double check pins on that again. So that's 3. Oh, where's my magnifying glass? Three, 2, 1. Right. So what have we got? We've got 1, 2, and 3, and we've got 1, 2, and 3. So green to there, white to there, and blue to there. Okay, what I'll do is I'm just going to spin this round and do the pin holding thing. Only 2 pins I want to hold, and not all 3. As I said, once there's heat from the solder, it'll just bend the pins in. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So this is 1. Now there is solder in that. I'll just fill it up a wee bit. Try and keep it as tiny as possible. See if I can make it neater than the last time. And this is going to go straight in. Sure. Melty. Nope. Probably because that capacitor's on there that it's not just flowing straight into it. I'm starting. Well, this is not going well. Just go in. No. Let's just go there. It's because that capacitor's in. Possibly unless it's done at the manufacturer's capacitor went in at the same time. Should be a good idea. Right, in and done. So we've got 3, 2. So let's do 3 next. I didn't believe what I've just done. Look. And that's 3. That's 2. Yeah, no, it's alright. It's fine. Just forget what I'm waffling about. And do exactly the same thing. Hopefully this time just a wee bit more efficient. Excellent. I really, now thinking about it, I probably should have put a wee bit of heat shrink back here so that I could just push it over the pins. Oh yeah, that means taking them all off again messing up the solder, and just constantly applying heat to the pins and causing them to melt, and then need to order a new part, and ugh. Okay, that's perfect. Right, that's going to be hot, 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 hot. So I'll leave that there. The next thing we need to work out is this little one here. Now, that was attached to there. I'm sure there's easier ways of doing this. So we just need a little jump cable to go across from, and now I have lost the bit. No, I haven't. So we're going to solder this onto here first. So I think what I'll do is I'll solder it at an angle. If it fits in here. No. That works kind of. Right. And all I do is tin this. And tin the other side. Alright. Clean that. It is absolutely disgusting. Righty-ho. Whoop. Now, do I want to do this with the pliers? Probably yes. Well, I'll hit to that. Hold on a second. Okay, this will have cooled down now. So, that is hot. Yes. Good job, I have lampy fingers. What I mean by lampy fingers is as a lighting engineer during the good old days when they used high temperature lights and not LEDs, you were constantly burning yourself, but you kind of just got used to the heat on your fingers, and you built up calluses, and it was, you know, a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, if they're, you know, going for dinner or something like that, they go, oh, the plate's hot. I go, and they'll just take the plate off, and it's just something I think that a lot of lighting engineers are able to do. Right, so that's, I'm going to redo that. And And this time, yeah, it's going to be so silly. We'll see what's underneath here. It's just a big blob of solder, that's all. Let's just get that in there. There we go. Hopefully, that's that done. Now it's the fun part. You get to try and put all this back together again. Okay, clear the desk of some stuff. Stuff. Get some of the bits together. I am not going to fix this first. I'm going to put it together and then I'm going to glue it. Because I just want to obviously check that these cables are going to fit first. Now this fits in here, and then this should bend, slide in here. Wonderful. We'll try not to chop the cables. I did say I was going to get thinner gauge wire, but of course I never did it. I just forgot. So if we can get this in without chopping these cables up, and yep, it's looking alright. Next part, run these cables down. Do you know what, maybe I should just glue this just now. It might be easier to put together because I've got these, and I'll get an idea of how I need to, what I need to bend these cables into, so I can push them out the back. Fortunately, it's right where these other joints are, not as easy to bend in. What I'll do, I'll use a bit of gaffer tape just now. This is not a permanent thing. Just a bit of gaffer tape, just to keep this together. Again, quality gaffer tape from Lidl. My new favourite shop over the last couple of years. Lots of interesting things in there that are very handy for the workbench and fixing things, and it's incredibly cheap as well. Let's get the microphone in there, and this is a bit of a pain. I'm sure I don't. It's got a little gap. Just going to push these cables through and then push the board down. That's a lot better than what we had. A lot neater. So I've got to remember which screw fits in here. I think it's the long one. I'm looking for the little screwdriver I had. I'm pretty sure I put it up here somewhere. Maybe it's that one. Let's give this a try. Yarp. Cool. I'm like trying today to not make a video that is about, yesterday's video was about 50 minutes long, which, to be honest, if I'd actually used a lot of the footage yesterday, it would have been about an hour and a half long. I had to cut so much out of it. So I try and make sure this video is not so long. But that's cool. There's a little kind of, I suppose you call it a rubber washer. That would just be for dampening. And yep, that's cool. It's tempted just to leave the gaffer tape on it, because the thing is, when you put a battery in it, now I need to find a AA battery to test this. Where would one be? Where could I get one? Not there. I know where. I just stole one out of a remote control. Yeah, I mean, obviously the power cap's not on it, so hopefully I've not messed it up and pulled. Nope. Cool. Yeah, so if I hold that down, put that in, you know, that will actually work. Which obviously the metal surround goes on that. Do I really want to just leave it with gaffer tape? I mean, the gaffer tape's pretty sticky. See if I can find a different type of gaffer tape. I've got, you know, somewhere of a fairly industrial gaffer tape. The other option, if I can find I also can't find it. Give me a minute. Da, 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 da. That'll be alright. Don't mind me, I'm just rooting about for stuff. Now, a bit of heat shrink. Now, this is a bit of madness, but that's actually not too bad. Bit of heat shrink. Cut. And then, so flatten this out a wee bit. What happens next is the heat shrink goes round and it gets glued on, and it actually gives a better look. Sorry, sometimes my Glaswegian comes out at me, which is not a bad thing, but I know that a lot of Glaswegians, when they speak, they have to speak very slowly because a lot of people don't understand. Glaswegians tend to speak very quickly, and they also use different expressions. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube for things like Americans trying to understand people who are Glaswegian, and it's actually quite hilarious sometimes. So when I'm dealing with a client that's American, or from other parts of Europe and various other places around the world, I have to speak very slowly because a lot of people do not understand. And if I do go a bit Glaswegian on this, there is subtitles. But what I've noticed is watching some of my videos back, I'm using a lot of M's and ums and whatever, and that comes up on the subtitles. Do find that quite hilarious, to be honest. So okay, let's try it and glue this. Now, I'm trying to remember if I use super glue. This is going to get really messy if I use super glue. And I'm going to end up sticking my fingers together. So, what I like to do is try and flatten this out a wee bit. I could just use gaffer tape, but over time, gaffer tape the glue will corrode. It's not an ideal kind of fix for that. So maybe what I'll do, first of all, is just, the problem is here, it's got this little fold in it. I'm just trying to kind of flatten that out a wee bit. Yes, of course, I could maybe use a wee bit of heat on it. Well, it's not too bad just folding it back. If I use a wee bit of heat, it would get rid of that fold, but it would make it shrink as well. The idea is that put this on, tiny little bit of heat on it, and hopefully it'll kind of pull this together. So I'll do one side first. This is going to get horribly messy. I know. Horribly messy. I'm going to regret this. I know this for a fact. I might have just used normal glue the last time. So let's give this a shot. Oh, I've already got it stuck to my fingers. I was using super glue yesterday and I spent the rest of the night trying to peel super glue off the tips of my fingers. Not ideal. Right, so that's a wee bit upon that side, but it shouldn't matter. I can always use a gniffy, a knife to do that. Oh no, it doesn't want to fit in there. Nice. Right, so I want to put a wee bit of glue around here. Well, I say a wee bit, that's a phenomenal amount. Okie dokie, there we go. And hold that together, try and not get my fingers stuck. Marty microphone hands if I get stuck to this. Okay, it's not too bad. Let's hold that together for a wee bit. Now, it's actually going to be quite a solid. I'm going to put a bit of stickiness underneath because I don't want that sticking out. If I can finish my sentence, I get a little cocktail stick, push some of the glue underneath and hold it flat. So another thing, as I said, another thing I'd do, if I just get a lighter give that a couple of minutes just to light it, and that'll get rid of that, keeping it tight into this column, because this has to be able to slide up and down on that. Do you know, I probably have forgotten something, and I hope I haven't, about how to put this together. It's going to end up that I'm not going to be able to get this bit on because of this, blah blah blah. Now, that's all together. This goes on there's a screw edge on that, so what does that screw into? There is a oh no, this is what I'm talking about. There's this guy which this screws into, and this goes, please 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 please. That's not it's not an issue. Where do the screw holes meet up? There's another set of screw holes there, which they will go on. There's 3 screw holes there, so that goes down here, and should be 2 screw holes that match up. I think these are the ones that match up. There's 3, so those two go there and there. So this will fit. I just need to take that out for a second. Lie down. Put this up here. First of all, a wee bit of heat on this. Smooth it out. That's also tightens the. Trust me, I've done this before, and I messed it up then. Bloody kidding me, man. That way I have to force this. I'm sure once I get it started it'll be okay. Yep. Tearing it up. I'm going to probably have to take this heat shrink back off again and do it again. Oh, I also put it around the right way, didn't it? Right. Yep, that's good. Okay. So, once I get this over, bingo. And the next thing to go on would be this. Now, this goes on the end, and that goes on there, so that screws up into that. I'm not having fun with this. Trying to figure out how curious. I don't want that stuck. Yeah. Right, got ya. So next thing is line these screws up here, and we will find the relevant screws, which are flat-headed screws. The longer screws are the ones, yeah, these are the ones with kind of, call it tapered edges, I think. Very tiny, 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 tiny little screws. I need a very tiny, tiny, tiny little screwdriver for them. Oh, that fits. It does, you know. Got one. I'm guessing that is the right way around. A lot of guessing here. I haven't even put a timer on this video. Potentially, I'm going to cut a lot of this out. A lot of times you really want to hear me waffle about stuff. I'm going to say a bad word in a minute. I'm trying not to. These are the painty ones. This is clearly not the right screw for this. It's just not wanting to screw into anything. It's not. Come on, little guy. Yep, right. So slightly longer screw with kind of tapered edge. And we found it. Maybe it's a wider screw. There is one thing I've got missing on this. There's a little grommet on it that I don't have. I'll explain later. So let's slide this in without damaging any of the cables. Yeah, again, I'm off camera again, Martin. Got to stop doing that. Right, you would think that might go down further, but it doesn't. So this is the battery compartment, and it's, I mean, using heat shrink is actually seems to work pretty well. Don't know how that'll work. Don't know how that'll work when we've got, you know, through time basically. So this goes on here. Now we've got to work out how this goes on. This is supposed to stop this from falling off. So that needs to go on first. Huh? Because when that goes down, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot. There's a little, see, once it's done, there's a little plastic bit in that. Now I'm missing the plastic bit It's just like a little plastic washer that fits inside there. Once that's in, the plastic washer is there, and I don't think I have it. This mic originally came to me in bits. There was bits missing, and the reason I remember there's a plastic washer there might be the fact that I've lost it, but yeah, we'll figure something else out. It's going to be a bodge. It's going to be a bodge. I'm going to find these screws again. Big screws, little screws, tiny screws, tiny screws. Absolutely tiny screws. There's one screw missing because of tiny screws. Yep. And the other tiny screw. Whoops. Two tiny screws. And now we put this bit on. Now, there's a grommet there. This is kind of an interesting thing. Lost the grommet, but I have bought a box of little grommets, and it fits, but it needs to be grinded down first. So these are kind of round. Oh sugar! Don't believe it. I actually got it. I didn't swear. I've lost it. Yes, they'd be swearing. Maybe not on YouTube. Just yet. I'm sure there's plenty of time. Some bad language. Right. This ain't the right screw. Oh, it helps if I actually use a screwdriver that will turn it. There we go. So, we've got a grommet which goes in here. The issue we have with that is that this grommet sticks out too much. Put the little dampener in place. And so this sticks out too much. So what we're going to do is take this grommet. I've got I'm going to see if I can find a way of basically grinding this down. First of all, before we do anything, we put this together just now. What? Oh, it's really tight. It ain't good. Right. Got myself a coffee now. I feel a bit better. It's very frustrating and all that. But yeah, a good idea how this goes together. Oh, okie dokie, let's try this now. So, one battery, nearly falling off the workbench. This is just supposed to be a seal. Push that right in. Then this goes over the top with the microphone. Now this needs to be on the top part. The one thing with this seal is just getting this over. It keeps pushing it back out again. So that's a little bit better. Maybe if I can, yeah, that's gone in. So it might just be the actual cable that's causing that to pop back out again. This goes over the top, like so. And then the cap goes on. Now, I've got all the holes lined up. Not at all, because this needs to spin round the other way. Beautiful. Try not to twist the cable, and screw points need to be in the bottom. That goes on, screw points are in there. That screw point should line up. Little tiny screw, well, big screw first. And this is what I'm missing, is this screw for this point here. But the microphone should hold that. I will have a wee look and see if I've got any. I'm looking at how long this recording's taken, and it's taken a long time. I should have done a wee bit of research first before I ventured into this. Always good, especially if you're making a video. Right. And I'll put the microphone cap on. Screw it in. I've got 3 screws, 3 tiny little screws that go in here to keep this all together. Oh my goodness. See, I'm going to start it off with my finger. Got 1. 2. You know, I could just use the magnetic screwdriver for this. I need to remagnetise these dual screwdrivers, just in case I put them on a magnet and they get magnetised. Now, this is the point. This is the bit that you're supposed to put this on, and there should be a plastic grommet. I do not know where that is. So this will just slide off, but once that goes on, screw that in. Just needs a bit of gentle persuasion. And that is the mic back together. Apart from this grommet, with this tiny little grommet. Goes in to hold the XLR pins in place. So every time you plug an XLR in, the grommet quite quickly regret using the heat shrink. It's catching on it, but so this grommet goes in here. And have a wee Allen key for it. That goes in there, straight down to into the holder for the pins. Okay, that's it fixed. A couple of issues trying to get cover over it. I ended up actually filing down the grub screw while it was in this housing. This housing is covered up anyway, so it doesn't look great. It's a total Bodge, but it works with the battery. It also works with phantom power, and the main thing, the actual microphone itself is functional in every way, so it's serving its purpose again. So just to show you, this fits in and it screws in, and we have one fixed microphone. So this has been an absolute marathon today. I didn't realise this would actually cause me so many hassles. So I'm going to now get a coffee and sit and edit this, and hopefully I can cut it down to a decent size. So yeah, this has been Marty's Retro Rails. Thanks for watching.